embedded BW, and embedded BPC content, and some other topics. SAP Simple Finance includes 4 software products. The major one is SAP Simple Finance Add-on 2.0 that is based on Enhancement Package 7 for SAP ERP 6.0. For NetWeaver, it is 7.4 and SAP Hana 1.0. It is called Exchange Add-on, which means that after it is installed in the SAP Finance Add-on 2.0, the components replaced or say exchanged the classic accounting solution from existing SAP ERP 6.0 to Enhanced Package 7, and the new solution regarding Simple Finance will work. Based on SAP HANA Live 1.0 for SAP ERP, SAP Simple Finance also has specific component for SAP HANA Live 2.0 for SAP Simple Finance, which includes contents for the VDM to consume information from HANA. This is for the back end, and this must be deployed from SAP HANA. Regarding the front end, first of all, it can be deployed on any DB and it requires SAP NetWeaver 7.4 or lower release, but with SAP NetWeaver Gateway 2.0. It also requires UI Add-on 1.0 for SAP Enhancement Package SAP NetWeaver 7.0. SAP Simple Finance also has specific components for Fiori 2.0, SAP Simple Finance, Fiori Applications, and also for the Smart Business based on the SAP Smart Business Foundation Component 2.0, which is an SAP ERP 6.0 generic component. And SAP Simple Finance also has specific components like SAP Smart Business 2.0 for SAP Simple Finance, and in order to consume information of Smart Business for the backend, relevant HANA content should be stored correspondingly. This slide describes similar information, but it chooses technical names of all the product versions. This information would be helpful to search for the product from the service marketplace. For example, all the product availability matrix and products' technical names will be displayed here. This slide describes the software component version, which is the lower-level comparison for the product version described in the previous slides. There are some new software components introduced for FIN in Enhancement Package 7, which is in preparation for a code line split of Simple Finance. The FIN development packages from previous software components were realigned to new software components. The following are the major components: SAP FIN, EA FIN, FSCM CCD, and from Release 2.0, SAP FIN 720 is a major software component for SAP Simple Finance add-on. The contents of software components EA-FIN and FSCM CCD was retrofitted into SAP FIN 720, but for technical reasons, these two software components were temporarily kept as empty containers in the system. This is for the backend. And besides this, we also have the software components for SAP HANA Lite 2.0 and SAP ERP, which is the general component for ERP 6.0. And based on that, Simple Finance has the specifics of components SAP HANA Lite 2.0 for SAP Simple Finance. And you can find the content in the parts of HANA-DB SAP HBA SFIN 700. For the front-end server of the software component versions from 2.0, all the Simple Finance Fiori and Smart Business apps are provided with this new software component, UI-APF i70, and the version number is 200. The contents of software components UI-FSCM70 and UI-HSFIN i1 was retrofitted into UI-APF i70, and also SAP Smart Business requires 6 HANA content packages to be deployed to the backend HANA database. This slide describes the brief introduction of the architecture for cache management powered by SAP HANA. From the UI perspective on cache operations, it provides the Fiori, including the Smart Business and Transactional Fiori apps. For the Smart Business, we have to consume information from the HANA database, by the oData provided by Gateway or by the XS engine. The XS engine is deployed directly in the HANA database, which means that it is 2-layer without any application layer. For the transactional Fiori, it consumes information via the oData interface provided by Gateway. For the bank account management, it is purely put on WebDin Pro technology as the user interface. And for the liquidity management, the UI consumes the Design Studio as the user interface, and it is put on the embedded BPC or BW or PAK. Also, some real-time info cube is to be consumed for planning data. To consume information of Fiori and Smart Business content by installation of SAP Simple Finance add-on, we already have the Fiori catalog and Fiori group from which you can directly consume information of Fiori application. This is for the transactional Fiori application, while for the analytical Fiori or for the Smart Business content in the consumer project, you need to set up the remote catalog and group to enable Smart Business application content. To configure the Fiori and Smart Business applications, we need two tools: the Fiori Launchpad Designer, which is mostly for the catalog and Fiori tiles definition, while for the Smart Business you also need the KPI Modeler, which is a kind of Fiori. You can see the Smart Business as the special kind of Fiori app. We use the KPI Modeler to define the KPI definition, including all the drill-down dimensions, all the key figures, views, chart types, and so on. You can find the help document for these two tools in the URL. Smart Business Framework also provides the kind of personalization to help the end user to define their own tiles as per their requirements. In this case, we can add a new tile to the catalog with a specific tile title and threshold. For that kind of threshold, it would display as a warning or as an error, and immediately the tile will be displayed in the catalog. The user can easily attach the tile from the catalog to their Launchpad, so that a newly defined personalized tile would display in the homepage of the end user. This is the list of oData services which are consumed by different Fiori and Smart Business apps. For the Smart Business Liquidity Forecast, the information is consumed by the BW query. For Smart Business Payment Statistics, the information is a little bit special, but consumes all the data serviced by the XS engine without any middle layer for the application server, and this is the special oData service provided by SAP Hana directly. This information is helpful when you find any issue in the Fiori Launchpad. In some cases, the oData is not activated successfully. That is one thing to consider when you're looking for the root cause of the Fiori errors. This is the general definition of oData services. Basically, this is a kind of standardized protocol supporting different options like create, read, update, and delete for creating and consuming data application programming interfaces by the external application. To use the Fiori and Smart Business apps, first we need to activate the oData services in the Gateway application server. So, this is the step-by-step introduction of how you can activate service in this transaction, and also you can test the oData service directly in this tool to make sure that the data consumed from Hana database or other database is successfully set up. To use the bank account management, there are a list of HTTP services that need to be activated in SICF. This is regarding the WebDin Pro services, workflow services, and the POWL services. To use the SAP Cash Management powered by SAP Hana, business function FIN, FSCM, CLM has to be switched on by the SFW5, and this business function is also reversible technically. This is regarding the roles for SAP Simple Finance Cash Management by SAP Hana. For the NWBC menu, you need to assign the PFCG role SAP SFIN Cash Manager in the back end. And also, for the front end, you need to align the role SAP SFIN BCOR Cash Manager. In this row, it provides the Fiori tiles, Fiori catalog, and the Fiori group, so that the end users can have those tiles in their Fiori Launchpad if they have the row aligned to the user, and in the middle we provide the list of PFCG roles corresponding to different Fiori apps. but these roles are just for the authorization role only. This means that if you just want to use one Fiori app, for example, make bank transfer in the cash management powered by SAP HANA environment, and you need to do some authorization check, in this case, you need to align this PFCG role to the end user in order to do proper authorization definition for that list. And this is the list of authorization objects which are included in the backend role SAP SFIN Cash Manager. You can also check the details in the backend SAP Quick Transaction PFCG, and you can assign the proper authorization checks in the role. There are two additional PFCG roles required in the front end to configure smart business applications. Also, in the HANA database, you need to assign two additional HANA roles to your HANA users. You can check the help document in the URL to configure the authorization for Fiori. To configure the gateway specially for oData services and the easy queries, you just need the authorization to create customized requests. We mentioned about the Smart Business Payment Statistics app. It consumes information directly from Access Engine. This means that you need authorization roles for this specific Fiori Smart Business app. And it is a bit different the way authorization is done. We have the VDM privilege defined for the Payment Statistics app. This is the planning architecture, mainly for the liquidity management of the rolling liquidity planning application. In the front end, we have different tiles. The tiles can launch the BPC Workcenter or directly launch the Design Studio application. The information is consumed by the BW query on planning functions in the above layer, and the BPC Workcenter will consume information by the embedded BPC. In the embedded BPC, the BPF template is defined, which is pre-delivered by SAP for the planning template. The status of the planning cycle is also managed in the embedded BPC. For the embedded BW, all the planning logic is provided by the virtual provider info objects and also different multiple providers. To consume information from HANA, there are HANA views and also the BW tables for embedded BW and also some BPC tables consumed by the embedded BPC.